Hi, and happy Monday. Welcome to all the occupiers of White City Place. Thank you for being here each week so we can connect in this way, looking after our mental and physical health. Um, but I also want to say happy International Women's Day. Um, a great day for females all around the world. And it's one of those days, of course, where we look upon our female pioneers who have made a difference globally in so many different ways. Um, but also, I think it's important to celebrate yourself. We quite often, whenever it's a special day, we quite often look towards the pioneers or people that have made a stand for us. And it's easy to distance yourself in that way, to think that, you are less of a person. Um, and so I want to really focus a little bit on that self-love. Um, for who you are and celebrate yourself as a woman. Um, and for any guys that are here today, to celebrate the women around you in your local space, whether it's family members or good friends, sisters, um, celebrating each other, it's really, really important. So yes, unite in that way and celebrate who you are. And it's really nice that I get this platform to share with you, because I think that mindfulness is a really great way of um, developing that self love for who you are, developing um, your self confidence, your inner awareness, your the way that you show up in life, the way that you respond to life rather than react, um, and really just looking out for yourself. When we look out for ourselves, that can sound selfish, but we're really um, looking after each other as well. When we look after self, we learn um, the value of looking after self, and then we can pass that on to other people. It's a little bit like the um, oxygen mask analogy on airplanes, which I found difficult when I used to travel with my then young baby. When I heard that the when the oxygen mask request came on an airplane, that you had to put your own mask on before your child's, it felt wrong. It felt intuitively wrong. But of course, it makes sense because, if I'm not at my best, how can I help my young baby? And so it's a really great analogy to use in life. When you can look after yourself, then you are able to look after other people. And I think that's also quite um, an interesting thing to mention on International Women's Day as well. Um, we tend to be maternal to not just children, but to our friends, where we have this sensitivity that we can foster and harness and really kind of use to our benefit in terms of empathizing with others. You know, so it's really good to focus on who we are so that we can then understand others more. Yeah, so that's a really nice reason to learn mindfulness, how to meditate, I think, anyway. So, yeah. So, happy, happy International Women's Day. Happy You Day. So celebrate who you are in every way that you can. So yeah, we're gonna start in a moment. Last week I used a timer with a nice little chime um, to divvy up some of the exercises that we use. I'm going to do that again today. So I'll just explain while you're fully conscious how that works. When we come to it, uh, there'll be the first 2 minute segment, and then there'll be and that'll be marked by a chime, both at the beginning and at the end of 2 minutes, which isn't very long really. And then there'll be another 2 minutes, and then there'll be another chime. So you've got 2 blocks of 2 minutes, and then there'll be a bigger section in the middle, which will be 4 minutes, and the chime will come at the end of the 4 minutes, and then there'll be another 2 sets of 2. So it'll go 2, 2, 4, 2, 2, and you've got a chime each time. And what's nice about that is that you can just kind of let go. You can just be in whatever focus we're practicing on in that 2 minutes or 4 minutes. You can just forget about it because you know that a chime is going to bring you out of it, and then we'll go on to the next thing. So each section will have a different focus, and I will tell you what each focus is as we come to them. So you don't need to remember what it is, if that makes sense. So we're going to do that halfway through. But we'll start with some other things first. And I think it's really important also to mention this, that I like to start off with breath exercises, and those breath exercises generally are with a longer exhale to start. And the reason for that is that your breath follows your mind, and your mind follows your breath. And what that means is if you lengthen your breath, you can slow down the mind. When you lengthen the breath, it becomes slower, right? Fast breath is like panting, it's very quick. And when we have rapid breathing, for example, in a panic attack, our mind is usually racing as well. The two go together. So the best way to bring that speed down, rather than breathing into a paper bag, for example, is to slow down your out breath. And that is because when you breathe out, you're breathing out carbon dioxide. So when you breathe into a paper bag, for example, you're breathing in the carbon dioxide. And that's important because when you're having a panic attack, you're taking in too much oxygen with the rapid breathing. And then you can't breathe. So because your body is thinking it's got enough oxygen, so it doesn't need to breathe anymore, and you get into this panic attack and I can't breathe anymore. So what we need to balance that out is the carbon dioxide. So if you were having a panic attack and you breathed into the paper bag, you would be breathing in your carbon dioxide, and that slows down the breath. Because it is then saying to the body, okay, we've got enough carbon dioxide. Now we need to get some oxygen back in. So then you're able to start breathing again. However, we don't need a paper bag. It's the same unless you're having a panic attack. But it's the same idea if we hold in the breath for a few beats and then breathe out slowly. What we're doing is we're hanging on to the carbon dioxide just a little bit longer. And that helps to slow everything down. So I hope that explains why. So I do that because when the breath slows down, the mind slows down as well. And then we might do some breath exercises where both sides of the breath are even, but they're also a slightly longer length. As generally, as you go around your day, you'll find um, you probably breathe. Your breath ratio is probably around the 3 to 4 seconds um, long in and out. So 4 seconds in, 4 seconds out is quite relaxed actually. But generally, you might be just kind of going about your day at about 2.5, 3 seconds. So when we do the breath exercises, we tend to do them for either 4 or 5, because that slows down both sides of the breath and keeps it even. So I just want to explain why you're doing that. I think it's really important to understand the science behind why we breathe in a certain way, and then it becomes more personal. It makes you more ready, more ready to invest in the practice when you know why. So I hope that's you up to date with explanations. Just to get the time, yeah. So let's use some of that knowledge and get into our practice. So sitting nice and easy. I just want you to don't close your eyes to begin. Just looking down at the floor where there's not really much going on, and just staring into space, really, not looking at anything particularly important. I just want you to, with your eyes open, just get an idea of how you feel physically. How does my body feel right now? Does it feel relaxed? Do I need a little bit of shuffle room? Do I need to kind of adjust myself? Or am I adjusting myself just because that's what I think I should do before I sit down and meditate? Be conscious of why you do things. And then notice how you're breathing. So again, don't try and breathe in a meditative way. There is no such thing, really. I just want you to notice how you are breathing. Notice the breath as you are naturally. Okay, so whenever we mention the breath, we quite often start to try and breathe a certain way, your idea of relaxed way. Try not to do that. You're already breathing naturally as I was doing all the talking before. So see if you can just notice the breath coming in and out of your body without having to breathe a certain way. And the nice thing about learning to do this with your eyes slightly open, just a kind of low gaze, is that you can then do this anywhere at any time. So if you were in a meeting, for example, it wasn't appropriate to close your eyes to go inwards, you could just have your eyes open and bring this state of awareness into your day. So it's a nice practice to get into so that you can use it whenever you need to. Yeah, really just kind of checking in. All right, and then while you're sitting here with your eyes gently open, I want you to really focus on how the breath enters your body. So, does it come in through your nose? Does it come in through your mouth? And see if you can feel it making its way down the throat and the expansion of the chest. And then as it goes down, maybe into the belly as well. And then on the out breath, the reverse is also true as it makes its way back up and then back out through the nose or the mouth. So just trying that with your eyes open. Again, just with that awake awareness, just noticing the breath coming in and out. And you might even give that a little bit of a shape. You know, as it comes in, it might kind of curve a little bit, and then out in my curve again. So you're just kind of noticing, and a visual can really help sometimes. So imagine this air tunnel. The air is coming from the outside into your body. It's converting into carbon dioxide and then leaving the body as carbon dioxide. So it's coming in as oxygen and leaving as carbon dioxide. Fascinating little chemical process that your body does naturally. It's amazing. And now I want you to notice while you're doing that if your belly is staying soft or if you're tensing it slightly with the movement. Now, while you're noticing that, now I'd like you to gently close your eyes. So just keep this same focus on your breath, entering the body and leaving as carbon dioxide. Notice the belly, whether it swells on the in-breath or doesn't. So in other words, you're noticing how far in does the breath go? Does it stop at the chest? Or does it feel like it expands into the belly? You don't necessarily have to change anything right now. You're just noticing whether it does or whether it doesn't, and being super okay with that. There is no right or wrong way. Whatever you're doing naturally is the right way. Now, while you're doing this, I'd also like you to notice any feelings that come up. So, this could be both physical and mental. So, the physical might be sensations in the body, it might be the feeling of certain muscles relaxing, or it might be awareness of the physicality of the chest, the ribs, the belly moving. It might be awareness of your heartbeat. Sometimes you can feel that without even taking your hand to your heart. You can get a sense of the beat. It may be skin that's exposed to the air versus parts of your body that are clothed. There may be pins and needles in your body somewhere. So that's the physical idea of feelings, but also inside your head. Noticing, how do I feel today? How is my mood? And I don't want you to try and change it or judge it, but be with it. Just notice how it is right now. It might be that you're even a little bit unsure, and that's fine. It doesn't matter either. Whatever comes up or is happening right now, you're just observing. So the feelings are different to the thoughts, but the thoughts we have can influence the feelings. But I want you to try and discern the difference. So as you are sitting here, the feeling is really, do I feel relaxed? So that's a physical kind of, yes, I've let go. I'm feeling There's not too much going on in my head. I'm feeling relaxed. Or is it, God, I'm feeling really quite agitated at the moment. I can't seem to sit still. Or feeling quite excited today. Or maybe I'm feeling just flat. Don't know why, but I'm just feeling that way. So that feeling is quite literally a physical feeling. You don't have to explain it. You don't know why it's there. You just know that's how you are right now, today. Or it could be, I just got up like that and it hasn't left me all day, whether it's a flat feeling or a buzzy feeling, or I just feel super happy today and I don't know why. Just that idea of feeling. And then I want you to notice any thought that might come in to your head. I don't want you necessarily to try and find a thought. If you're feeling nice and peaceful, you don't need to find a thought. But what I would like you to do is take your mind's eye, your visual behind your eyelids. So this is a literal image. It's not an imagined one. You are actually looking at the back of your eyelids with your eyes closed. And this is a really nice place to be to interpret thoughts and feelings. So, looking at the back of your eyelids where there is nothing going on other than whatever light is coming through the eyelids is creating a color, a shape, maybe a tone, maybe moving shapes. Everybody will be different. You are unique. So, whatever you see behind your eyelids will be different to what I see behind mine. And another difference is that depending on the light in your room, that's going to make a difference on what you see behind your eyelids. The darker the room, the further away from the window, the darker the color behind your eyelids. Similarly, the opposite is also true. If you're facing a window, or if you aren't facing a window and you just, with your eyes closed, just turn your head towards the window, you'll notice the light behind your eyelids changes and it changes the color. So this is a really nice home base to sit and look at the back of your eyelids. And then from there, you can sense the feelings. And you can try and keep your focus behind the eyelids for as long as you can, i.e., looking at whatever color presents itself, for as long as you can, before a thought comes into your head. And this is the challenge with mindfulness meditation. You are trying to keep your focus for as long as you can before a thought comes into your head. And this focus is what I like to call the space between the thoughts. Now, what I want you to do, if you're, don't try and bring in a thought, just keep looking at the back of your eyelids. If and when a thought comes in, which likely it will, notice that the thought is always in visual form. The thought is always in visual form. And that is why it is noticeable when your mind goes off into another realm, because you see it. The trick is not to get consumed into that visual as you would if you're watching a movie, for example. The trick is to see the thought and go, okay, I'm coming back to the other visual behind my eyelids. And I'm going to stay with that color behind my eyelids for as long as it's comfortable, for as long as I can, before another thought comes into my mind. And what you might discover is that because the thoughts are always visual, it either takes you right in and consumes you, as I mentioned before. Watching a movie does that, or a TV program. The visual, you are right in the visual. Or you might find that the visual just kind of snakes behind the color that you're looking at, i.e., as if the color you were looking at behind your eyelids is a net curtain, and the visual imagery just kind of travels behind the net curtains. You're aware of the thought passing by, but you're not consumed by it. So it does take practice, but it also allows you to have those thoughts. You're just noticing. You're noticing how it is. Am I being consumed? You're noticing if you can let it slide by, a kind of blurry context. And you're noticing about the coming back to the visual behind your eyelids. That is the whole practice of the mindfulness. So we're going to try and slow down the mind by doing the first breath exercise. So I'm going to use the timer as I explained I would before. So what we're going to do with this first exercise is that you're going to be, and don't worry, I will count you in for the first 2. You're going to be breathing in for a count of 6 seconds. You're going to hold the breath at the top for 4 seconds and then slowly release it, as slowly as you can. And I'll count down. See if you can make it 7 or 8 seconds. Don't worry if you can't. You've already held the breath for 4, so it's already adding to the 6 that you let it out. So see how you go, and then we'll do it again. And that's only going to be for 2 minutes worth of time. Following that, we're going to do a coherent breath exercise. But that's going to be after we've done a little looking at the back of the eyelids. So it's going to be 6, 4, 7 for 2 minutes. 2 minutes at the back of the eyelids where you are now. And then in the middle, the longer section is going to be the coherent breath. That's going to be for 5 seconds in and 5 seconds out. But you don't need to worry about remembering all of this. I'm going to prompt you. And in the last 2 minutes, I will tell you when we get there. All right? So it's all good. And so just staying at the back of your eyelids for the moment. And I'm going to get ready to start this with the little chime. So as soon as the chime starts, we're going to start breathing in for 6. All right? So when you hear the chime, just push out all of your breath, just like, and then we'll go. All right, off we go now. Breathing in, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and hold, 2, 3, 4, and out. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Breathing in. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and hold. 2, 3, 4, and out. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Breathing in. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and hold. 2, 3, 4, and out. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Breathing in. Keep going in your own pace. Just finishing off whichever one you're on. No rush, but when you finish that final out breath, let all the counting go. And just looking at the back of your eyelids and just checking in with everything that we talked about at the beginning. So, how does my body feel physically? So, doing a little bit of a scan, noticing how the body feels. And how does my body feel emotionally? Noticing whatever comes up. And really tuning into that. Alright, so from here we're going to go into the coherent breath exercise. So we're going to be breathing in for 5 and out for 5. And I'm going to count you in for the first 2 and then just carry on. And I won't say anything else until the 4 minutes has passed. And that'll be by the chime. Alright, so breathing in, 2, 3, 4, 5, and out, 2, 3, 4, 5, and in, 2, 3, 4, 5, and out, 2, 3, 4, 5, and in. Keep going, your own time and pace. And just let all of that counting go. When you finish that last out breath, just let go of the counting. Really take your mind's eye back again behind the eyelids. And again, this is just your little chill out zone for 2 minutes, just to notice how the body recovers. So it's quite nice when you've done a conscious breath exercise like that. It can be quite tiring. So it's that's really nice feeling of just letting go of the counting and just notice how the body recovers its natural breath. Just noticing how the body also responds. Does it feel more relaxed now that you can just let go of that focus? Now I want you to bring in a positive word that you need to embody for you. So it might be, I am strong, or it could be, I am love, it could be, I am peace, I am clarity, I am focus, I am happy, I am powerful. Whatever it is that you would like to embody, bringing that in right now and just repeating it to yourself with the I am. Now you can keep your mind's eye behind the eyelids as you repeat the I am, whatever that word might be, positive word, over as many times as you like. And it might be with every in breath, you bring it in. And every out breath, you soften into the experience of that feeling. So you might be saying, I am love, for example, on every in breath, and just letting it slide on the out breath, soften into you. And then again on the next in breath, you might say it again. Or you might choose to say it on every in and on every out. Or you might choose to say it on every 2 or 3 breaths. Up to you to choose. But just keeping that soft focus behind your eyelids as you embody the sense of the word. Just affirming it to yourself over and over as many times as you need. And we choose a positive word because this is all about self love. With every in breath, you can feel the sense of the word expand, getting bigger each time. So there's no more chimes to stop you, because I want you to stay with this feeling as long as you can, using the little tricks and ways of staying focused, noticing, feeling, and just being mindful and repeating that affirmation like a mantra as many times as you need, and staying here as long as you feel good. I'm going to end the meeting from my point of view, but please stay with it as long as it feels comfortable. I never like to bring people out of a meditation because we are all so unique. So it's really important that you stay with it as long as it feels good for you. And I wish you all well. And